Good morning, doctor. My name is Chong Mun Yee, Matric Number 293497. In this video, I will be presenting my individual assignment, the performance and its determinants of APM Automotive Holding Berhad. APM Automotive Holding Berhad, as known as APM, is a Malaysian company in the automotive industry. Its core area of business is as a manufacturer of automotive components. APM was established in 1978 in Selangor, Malaysia, and listed on the member of Kuala Lumpur Stock Exchange KLSE in 1999. The main focus of APM is design, development, manufacture, assembly, and supply of automotive parts and components. The main product of APM are seating system, air conditioning system, electrical components, and the others. As one of the biggest manufacturers of automotive components in Malaysia, APM overseas operations has expanded to Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, Myanmar, USA, and Australia. Next, I would like to discuss about the problem statement. The issue for this company is the close relation between the change of shareholder from external factors and corporate governance. On 13 December 2022, APM announced that the Employee Provident Fund Board (EPF) has disposed its share from the company and was not a major shareholder in the company again. There are many issues of corporate governance that may be behind this significant change. When a change in shareholding happens, especially the acts of a major shareholder, it has a significant impact on a company's governance structure, business operation, and shareholder relation. Although APM has an audit committee, it remains a challenge in practice to efficiently monitor and prevent serious corporate governance problems. Therefore, APM specifically mentioned the potential impact caused by shareholding change in their Corporate Governance Report 2022. In this study, there are three research objectives. First, to assess the internal or firm-specific factors that could have influence on APM Automotive Holding Berhad performance. Second, to identify the external or macroeconomic factors that could have influence on APM Automotive Holding Berhad performance. Third, to investigate the internal and external factors that could have influence on APM Automotive Holding Berhad performance. For the research question, it also has 3 points. First, is there any relationship between the internal factor with APM Automotive Holding Berhad performance? Second, is there any relationship between the external factor with APM Automotive Holding Berhad performance? And the last, is there any relationship between internal and external factor with the APM Automotive Holding Berhad performance? Now let us moving on to the literature review. For this part, I will mainly focus on the company performance, credit risk, and operational risk. Part of a company performance is reflected in its financial performance, and profitability is the financial element of performance. According to Melissa Horton 2023, profitability is an efficiency measurement that is used to measure how a company profit relates to the size of its business and its ultimate success or fulfill. In this study, return on equity (ROE) has been chosen to determine the performance of APM Automotive Holding Berhad. Next, in the word of Sauder and Cornet 2021, credit risk means the possibility that the cash flow promised by loans and security held by financial institutions may not be paid in full. It is common to use average collection period (ACP) and debt to income as measure of credit risk. Based on Sega 2023, operational risk is the uncertainty and danger that a company faces in carrying out its day-to-day activities. It is common to use operational ratio and operating margin as a measure of operational risk. For this study, ROE will become the dependent variable and coming with the independent internal and external variables. The independent internal variables for this research are including return on asset (ROA), current ratio, average collection period (ACP), debt to income, operational ratio, operating margin, and corporate governance index. While independent external variables are including inflation rate, interest rate, foreign exchange rate, unemployment rate, GDP growth rate, and industry production rate (IPR). Next is the methodology. The sampling technique applied in this study is inferential statistics, data collected from annual report of APM Automotive Holding Berhad from 2018 until 2022, which is 5 years. The primary approach utilized in this study is linear regression, often known as ordinary least square or LS. To examine the relationship between performance and determinant in more depth, there are three models shown in this slide. The first model is the impact of the company internal factor affect the performance. The second model is the impact of the company external factor affect its performance. Last, the third model is the impact of the company internal and external factor affect its performance. Now, let us go to the finding and analysis. In this slide, I will explain about descriptive statistics. Based on the descriptive statistic table, the mean of ROE is 0.0556, which means that the financial performance of this company is above 5.56%, where standard deviation is 0.0318, has shown a small volatility over the 5 years. For the internal factor, the mean of the current ratio is 23.4555, while the standard deviation is 7.4064, indicates relative large change over a 5-year period and high volatility in the company liquidity. Under the operational risk, the mean of operational ratio is 0.0007 and standard deviation is 0.0001. This shows that the operational ratio has changed only slightly over the 5-year period, and the volatility of the company management efficiency has been similar small. For the external factor, the mean of GDP growth is 5.3120, while the standard deviation is 2.0876, which indicates a high volatility in GDP growth. Instead, the mean of the inflation rate is 1.7080, standard deviation is 1.1724, which indicates moderate volatility in the inflation rate and relatively moderate uncertainty in cost increases. Based on the correlation table, there are 40 independent variables that have only 5 positive correlated with ROE, which is ROA, ACP, operational ratio, operating margin, and interest rate, while the rest independent variables have negative correlated with ROE. In the correlation table, show that the most significant independent variables are operating margin and average correction period, where p-value is equal to 0.015, which is less than 0.05, and have a positive correlated with ROE. This indicates that when both variables increase, the ROE will increase too. Besides, the current ratio with a p-value 0.329, which is more than 0.1, have a negative correlated, shows that it is not significant to ROE. Moving to the ANOVA tables, as we can see, these three tables shows that no any model that are significant to the ROE. It is because the p-value of model 1 is 0.05, while p-value of model 2 and model 3 is 0.241. All are more than 0.10. For this slide, it is shown that all the results of model summary. In model 1, out of the 8 variables, only 3 variables, which is operating margin, current ratio, and SCP, dedicate to the financial performance of APM Automotive Holding Berhad, or ROE, with an adjusted R-square of 0.896. For model 2, out of the 6 variables, only 3 variables, which is IPR, GDP growth rate, and unemployment rate, contributed in APM Automotive Holding Berhad financial performance, or ROE, with an adjusted R-square of 0.855. Well, for the model 3, its result is same as the model 2. Next, I will discuss about the coefficient result of these 3 models. In model 1, the 3 variables, which is current ratio, ACP, and operating margin, can be tested with ROE. In model 2, the 3 variables that can be tested with ROE is unemployment rate, GDP growth rate, and IPR. The model 3 have the same result with model 2. In overall, model 1, 2, and 3 shows that did not have any variables that are significant to the ROE with a p-value of more than 0.1. Lastly, let us moving to the discussion and conclusion part. In conclusion, by referring to the correlation table, there are 5 independent variables, specifically ROA, ACP, operational ratio, operating margin, and interest rate, that have a positive effect on APM performance. Well, table of coefficients shows that the 3 regression models still not significantly affect the ROE individually. As the result, highlighted that average collection period ACP and operating margin were the major influence on the performance of APM. For the recommendation part, it is have 3 points. First, to manage the operational risk, implementing advanced technology and information system is important. It can increase the transparency of operations and help identify the response to potential operational problems without delay. Second, for the credit risk, building positive customer relationship and implementing a comprehensive credit assessment process to ensure that cash flow stability can be improved. Lastly, companies should set up a specific risk committee to better respond to possible threats. So that's all for me. Thank you.